Hello and thank you for clicking on the video. Welcome to the Barbell Bunker. What I have here is a bar from Black Box Fitness. It's the Multigrip bar. It's predominantly a bench press bar, but it's also used for rows and seal rows and different kind of functional movements. But before I get fully into it and kind of go through the pros and cons of the bar, I want to point out the reason why I have a brand new one in a box here and why I have this one here. When this bar was it was teased online on Black Box Fitness, and I saw it. It's very similar to one that's in the US that we can't get in Ireland. So when Black Box were coming out with their version of it, I was very interested, and when it launched I picked one up straight away, and I'd say I got one of the first few off the production line. What happened in that process was when they were putting it together, these two sleeves, you may not notice from the camera, but this is a brushed aluminium sleeve. This is more like a galvanized steel. Beside each other, or looking at it on the bar, they don't match. It looks a bit off. As I'm just in a home gym, it doesn't really affect too much. But when they were putting this end piece on here, they welded it on the wrong way. Therefore, when you look down, you'll see two pins on top here and one on top here. It's not a game changer, but if it was being loaded out to maximum capacity, it's going to be its strongest when you're bench pressing on this side than on here. It's a little bit off putting to look at, but I just have to say to one of the lads at Black Box Fitness, they understood their mistake. They saw it, they fixed it straight away. They sent me out a brand new one, no questions asked. Apologies, said hang on to this one, and here's another one. So you kind of have to say hats off to a company that's willing to stand by their product, that when they see that they messed up, they just rectify it straight away. I can't imagine any more going out with this issue, but it's good to know, peace of mind, that they'll fix it straight away if there was an issue. Other than that, I'm going to get it, open this one up, put it together and see what it's like. So I got the bar put together yesterday and I trained with it last night just to see how it felt in hand. Everything seems perfect with it. They got the two issues fixed. Both sleeves are matching and they welded it the right way. So other than that, the only difference that I'm seeing on this later one they sent me, this center bar here, the handle isn't knurled like these ones. There's just like an etching on it. I can't see it making any difference. It was knurled on the previous one. I don't think it has a functionality to it. I think it's just this overall support of the bar. I have seen people use an American bar that's similar to this, and what they were doing is they were putting like a strap on it and putting a loop in for lat pull downs. If you have a lat pull down machine, using it as like a handle. I do all my lat pull downs within the rack, so with the sleeves being the length, and they'd be getting in the way with the uprights. So it's not something that I'd be using it for, but it is an option there if someone was to use it for that. So the overall finish of the bar is done very well. This whole black area here is powder coated. All these joints that you see here are done very well. There's no sharp edges. Everything's filed down and rounded perfectly. All the welds are very nice throughout where the handles are met. The symmetry of the bar is perfect. The balance of it in your hand is perfect. You'll see the outside handles are a little bit more angled than the ones on the inside. They've obviously, the engineers have worked out a pattern that feels good in the hand. I've seen an American company that make a similar bar. A lot of people giving out saying that when they were re-racking the bar that it was hitting the uprights. This bar here, there's plenty of play in reloading it, re-racking it back in, and if you're hitting your uprights and not getting it into the J-cups, you're doing something wrong, because there's plenty of movement in this. The sleeves are a little bit sharper. They're not as rounded as the inside of the bar. What I will say about the sleeves is they use a standard diameter sleeve, which in some specialty bars you have to get special axle collars. That doesn't need to be done with this. You can use your standard collars. The sleeves don't rotate, but they have went that little bit extra and put at the end a black box, an end cap. It's not a functional end cap, but it's just to close off the tube, and it's nicer than plastering their logo all across the front of the bar. The bar itself is rated for 300 kilos. The loadable sleeve length is, I think it's just over 400 mil, so you're going to fit 6 20 kilo bumper plates, average size bumper plates, so there's plenty of room for loading plates on. The bar weight itself They say it is 20 kilos. I happen to weigh this one and the previous one that I had, and they both weighed in at 22.25. Consistently, both they weigh the same. It's a little bit heavier than they state, but it's better that it's heavier than lighter. And it's not the kind of bar that it's not a competition bar, it's a specialty bar, so it's not really going to make too much of a difference. Other than that, the knurling on the handles, it feels great. It's not too aggressive. It's only really going to be used when you're doing the likes of rows and stuff like that. It's not too essential for when you're bench pressing. But that's the overall build of the bar. So the main reason that I got the bar is for bench pressing, just to mix up the hand placement in my bench press. I find the weight that I'm using on my straight bar is fairly transferable over to this, especially if I'm using these wider hand placements. Once you take the grip in the center of the handle, the stability is perfect. As you move your hand in, it's more forgiving because you're taking the load at a higher level than the actual center of the weight, so it's a bit more balanced out. I will say, when you put it in first of all and it's in the J-cups, just be careful because it naturally wants to fall down like that, and I've felt that breeze a couple of times and it's a bit of a scary breeze to feel. When you start putting plates on, that then stays in position, it doesn't fall down. What I'll also say is, because you get that extra stretch, that maybe 3-4 inch range of motion, you'll need to drop your safety spotter arms or your straps down a level. I find that I'm using the same J-cups for loading if I'm using the wider hand placements. If I move my hands in, I could drop this J-cups down a bit, or I can just lean up and just take it out because of the level difference. I mostly use it for bench pressing and incline pressing. Then I also do a bit of seated shoulder pressing with it. I have a log that I use for my standing shoulder pressing, but I will say that it's for when you're bringing that bar down, it's perfect. It's not impeding your face. The width of the bar is actually not too wide, where it's coming in close to your face as you come down, and that's the main pressing movements that I use it for. So another good use that I get out of the bar is for back exercises, is both bent over rows and steel rows. I prop my bench up on a rubber block and a sandbag, and this camber allows me to get in that bit closer if I'm doing a steel row. If I was using a straight bar, it just tends to hit against the bottom of the bench, so I get the extra stretch with it being a cambered bar. What I will say, it's probably the most use that I get out of the knurl handle. I've seen some similar bars where they just have a powder coat handle, and I feel that you wouldn't be as connected to the bar if you were loading it up doing bent over rows. The knurl handle is definitely a plus for the pulling movements on the bar. So another couple of movements that you can do is arms. You can do bicep curls. It's similar enough to a hammer curl bar. It's a little bit wider, so your range of motion isn't going to be the same. But once you get your hand placement right, you can do hammer curls with it. You could also put it behind your head for some tricep extensions. Because the extra length of the bar, it's going to test the stability a little bit, but it's definitely a movement that can be done with it. So those are the main conventional uses for the bar. If you have a creative mind, there's probably many other ways you could find to use it. You could probably put it into a landmine and do some neutral grip rows, some pressing movements. I have seen people putting them into the J-cups and doing inverted rows. Some people then are putting the J-cups up higher and then using it as a pull-up bar, especially with the fact that it has the different hand placements. At one stage I was storing it up high myself, and my kids were using it as somewhat of a monkey bar to go across. So the options are endless, I suppose, if you were to get creative. And that really sums up everything I can say for the bar. A couple of pros and cons. The pros are most definitely the fact that you can use it for a number of different movements. It's definitely pro. The fact that it has 3 different handles means that you get different hand placements and different variability to each of them movements. The fact that the handles are angled means it's nice on your shoulders for comfort. The fact that it's cambered means that you're getting that extra stretch that you wouldn't get on a straight bar. As for cons, the price is definitely something for a specialty bar. It's €440. It's well built, but it is quite expensive. Storage wise, it's not as easy to store as a normal straight bar, just with the camber, and it's a little bit awkward. And maybe, I don't know, if you were to get a bang of that in the mush, that's probably, is that a con? Other than that, if you feel you'd get good use out of the bar, it's definitely worth investing in it. Check out Black Box Fitness up in Belfast. Other than that, till the next video, thank you for watching. Slán Abhaile from Dublin, Ireland. See ya.